Hi, Jess.
Hi, Jason.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Let's see. What do we got here? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? It is Friday, April 24th, 2026. And I see John in the room. I see you in the room. I see me in the room.
I know. I see a bunch of attendees, but our chat is very quiet. It was a
We,
little delayed.
we're having some technical issues. Oh, Lynn doesn't like the fade. No, hard stop, Lynn. Just a hard stop.
There's Heidi. There's Lynn.
The
Okay.
chat's catching up. Heidi's here. We have a delay today.
Yeah.
May's raising her hand.
Don't you love tech?
Yeah, you never really know what's going to happen. Well, I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Friday, everyone. So glad that you're here. Now, Averbook Digital Meetup episode 304. Wow, you kind of did that with me.
I know.
That was good.
So at least we know the live stream isn't delayed.
Yeah, we just know the chat's not working, right?
But keep chatting. It'll come in. It'll catch up. Keep chatting away and saying hello.
How are you, Jess?
I'm good.
Do you think anyone can hear us?
Yeah, please confirm. Leah, can you hear us?
Yeah, otherwise we'll just be talking to ourselves.
Whenever I'm hungry, Jason, I just look at Leah's Instagram story because her fiance, Nick, is probably the best chef who's not a chef, but should be. And if I'm hungry, I just look at her feed and it's amazing.
You're basically saying she has someone that cooks for her.
Yeah. Well, I think she's a pretty good cook too. Chats aren't showing up yet. Good Lord, what's happening?
Technology. Well, hopefully people are going to be able to chat. Richard said he can't believe I'm awake. Dude, let's go. What are you talking about?
I have to know, are you like sweating bullets? You literally deplaned from Amsterdam within the past hour, got through customs, and you're home. I thought you'd be joining from the airport, Jason.
Yeah, no, why not? Let's get home. It's a nice day. Got some baseball. Alex has a baseball game later on. So, yeah, got some calls in between. So we're ready.
Oh, my gosh. Chat is not working well. All right, we're going to riff.
Yeah, we'll riff. Do we dare restart? Probably not, right? Look, Renee said, is anyone out there?
Wow.
Chat's just running slow. We can hear you. Okay, good. We're just going to be slow.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, maybe it'll catch up. So, welcome, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. Everyone, we always start with the green, yellow, red. And even though we're going to do green, yellow, red, you may not be able to answer green, yellow, red. But at least you can hear Jess and I's green, yellow, red.
Yeah.
Jess, how are you? Green, great. Yellow, so-so. Red, not so good.
I'm green. The leaves popped out while you were gone, right? You were in Amsterdam this week, and spring definitely sprung in Minneapolis. It's bright and sunny. I have a big family weekend. My youngest daughter has her first communion this weekend. So my mom is in town. Like my whole family is descending upon us against Bailey's wishes, by the way. She did not want a big to-do, but she's getting a big to-do. So that will be fun. So yeah, I'm green. I got to run around after my kids all week. I was not on the road.
That's awesome. Yeah, missed you in Amsterdam. Amsterdam was amazing. I'm green just from being in Amsterdam.
Tulip season.
Had some amazing sessions, had some amazing interactions and dialogue. So, yeah, really, really good. And it was beautiful. I just seeing Dorothy. It was beautiful weather in Amsterdam, which was nice when it's there. And I didn't get hit by a bike, which
I know that's
always a plus.
Amsterdam.
You know, when you can do that, that's always a plus. So, what about one big thing or your oh shit moment? Because I think literally, like based on building a company together now, we probably talk more than we have in quite a while. I mean, even back in the Leap Gen days, there were more than just you and I. Now that it's just you and I for right this second, even though we have a new person that's ready to start, which is awesome. You have an oh shit moment I've learned every 5 minutes in your life, basically.
Yeah, so, you have to really be careful asking me for a play-by-play of my day while I'm still having my day, because it's like playing ping pong, whack-a-mole, And I was just home. I wasn't even traveling. Chasing around after my kids and managing the details of life is all the adrenaline I need. I will tell you a funny story. Uh, okay, where
And while you do that, for those of you that feel free to reload if you're not getting your
yeah,
chat on time and stuff, just because if Jess and I reload, we might lose all of you, but you guys can easily just refresh your browser
that's
and
true.
you'll get back in.
And it might fix for you, but we'll keep the broadcast going. So a funny story, since I had a lot of oh shit moments and blah, blah, blah. A funny story. My oldest daughter, Ainsley, has been talking to a boy. who- I have three
Talk
teenage daughters.
Talking to a boy, just
Yeah,
talking.
he's had a crush.
Leah's on. She's got experience with
You know,
this.
Leah could help it like just talk. Leah understands. There's the talking phase, which can last a very long time. So this boy has had a crush on Ainsley for at least 2 years, like 2.5 years. Met as freshmen, they're juniors now, and I guess they've been talking on and off maybe over this period of time. I actually, if anybody has heard this story from me before, I've actually pulled Ainsley out of his car before because she wasn't where she was supposed to be at the time that she was in this boy's car. So CJ knows exactly who I am. CJ has gone nose to nose
CJ is the name of the boy.
with me before. Teenage boy here. Oh my gosh, dear. So Ainsley informed me this. So they went on one date, not a date, probably a hang, if we're using proper teenage terminology. And CJ was very quick to tell her after this official first hang that wasn't a date that he loved her.
Woo! Wow.
And Ainsley told me that this week, like, oh my God, Mom. And I said, oh no, he didn't. And she goes, he did. Like every girl, every woman listening knows this is devastating. Like a little too much too soon, CJ. And I said, what did you say? And her response was, yes. That was her response.
Yes.
Just yes. She goes, I didn't know what else to say.
Oh, that is good.
From his unfortunate feelings.
I'm not sure that's the right, like, I think it should have been no.
Oh dear. Oh no. Yes. Every girl and woman can relate to being on that side of this conversation, and every boy and man can relate to poor CJ. We're just going to root for CJ. Hang in there, CJ. That's all I have to say.
You know what CJ did after that?
Cried? I don't know. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is a great story.
Yeah, and then he texted her last night at 9:30 p.m. and asked if could we hang out. And I said, Ainsley, remember the bar is way up here. People don't like a boy does not ask for your time at 9:30 p.m. for like the same day for like I want to hang with you right now at 9:30 p.m. He needs like we need some distance between the ask and the so he got shut down last night. It's a brutal time.
Holy cow. Tiger mom.
I know.
I mean, wow. That's rough.
It's rough. It's also 9:30 p.m. on a Thursday night. Like, come on, CJ.
Yeah, that's true. What good can happen after 9:30?
Get
right?
it in writing.
Wow.
So that's my funny story. I decided to go with the funny story.
Bullshit moment, one big thing, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. How about you? You had to have a bunch this week. You had a busy week.
No, I've had wow, like Heidi's on the same page as you. And I thought Heidi would be very like you and Heidi, like I thought you'd both be very open, like very liberal when it comes to this.
Oh God, no. No. Whatever. No. Bar here, not on the floor, here.
How would you feel about writing a dating advice book?
God, no.
JC's in the chat. She said you should write a dating advice book.
Oh, maybe. All my advice would be bar here. Keep it here.
Wow, I'm not gonna have mine's gonna be really freaking boring compared to this. So
Yes, Tracy, very brave. I recognize that as well. It was a very vulnerable thing to like immediately gush with your feelings after you finally got to date this girl.
You know what? I'm just having just so much fun. How do I? This is going to sound really goofy. I'm having so much fun helping people.
Mm,
I always like helping people, but helping students. And then this week in Amsterdam, I was able to run, and Jess and I's new company were able to sponsor our first event, which was the HR Tech Europe Startup Competition. Um, and that was really fun to sponsor something and actually give away a big check. You probably saw some pictures of
I
it,
did.
and with our logo on it and stuff. But to help the startups and to help the startup world think about what might work and what might not work and where they are along the journey, and then help college students, which I know we're going to talk about today, which I've been really focused on heavily, think about what's going on in their world and how work is changing, jobs are changing, things like that. I don't have one. It's like a big collection, but overall, I'd say I put it in that category, um, which is which is great. Just it feels good to help people, advise people, and maybe there's a point in your old life where that's what you shift to. But I'm definitely there, and I'm definitely loving it.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
supposed to say
nice.
you're not old, by the way, when I say something like that.
Oh, I've never felt older than
Yeah, well, that might be you, but you're not. You're supposed to still help me through the old
I've
part.
never felt older and I feel 19 every day. So I don't know what that means. I think in like the way we observe what's happening in the world, uh, from a work perspective, since we talk about work and tech all the time, like just from a, oh my gosh, the pace of things is insane. That's the part that makes me feel like, wow. And we still, like, we're still not done yet. I can't even imagine. Sometimes I write a post, Jason, and I'm like, have you ever gone back to your very first post on Facebook and like seen how cringe it is? Like I was sharing recipes with 0 likes and like writing somebody directly on their wall and not understanding I was writing on their wall. Like, remember how cringe that was when nobody knew how Facebook worked and we all started like loading photo albums and like it was so cringe. Sometimes I write posts about what's happening in the world of work and like tech and the fact that I'm figuring out Claude and Claude design. And I watched an OpenClaw install this morning and I'm like, how's that going to age? In like 5 years, I'm going to be like, what were you talking about? Like literally, what are you all doing back in the 2026?
Oh, can I share? I'm going to share one more story just really quickly on my one big thing, oh shit moment.
Yeah.
Um, the voice memo uh, that the infamous voice memo,
And I
which is
voice
going to
text
be
a lot.
saved now that I got, and our new employee, you and I and she, all on the same chat. Uh, and Jess was like, you have to listen to this. You have to listen to this. And I was like, up in the middle of the night, and I was like, "Holy cow, this thing keeps going and going." And I was trying to figure out how to speed up the voice memo. Like that was like a 10-minute voice memo, and it's as you saw. Well, yeah, it's as you like met your boyfriend for the first time. You were such a like excited little girl that
Yes.
met the combination of your boyfriend and a unicorn the first time based on your ideas.
God.
Oh my god, I got this crazy idea, but I'm driving, so I'm just going to talk for 10 minutes.
Oh my God. See, if we listen to that, even 6 months from now, I'm going to be like, oh, you were so cute when you were figuring all that out, you younger self, you. And then if in 5 years, the stuff we're talking about today will sound ancient. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to. Well, we're not going to share that voice memo, but
You're welcome to. You can all watch me learn out loud.
it is quite the voice memo. I didn't know what you were doing, but then you said you were driving, and I was like, oh, yeah, it was a lot. It was deep. I hope you pay attention while you're driving.
Of course I do. That's why I voice text. I just talk out loud.
Got it. Yes, Lynn, 5 years, 5 minutes.
Oh,
For those of you that haven't kept up with, which we're going to start something new. We're going to start some new AI training, or what I like to call education, as another meetup for those people interested to just talk about what's going on in the week and the impact it has on work, on education, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to start that in a couple weeks, which I'm really, really excited about. Um, we already have a bunch of CHROs that have asked to join that aren't part of our community today. So we're going to build and play and experiment together as kind of an offshoot of what we're already doing. But I mean, just to see what's happened in the last day or two or three in the space when it comes to AI. And then the other thing is when it comes to what's happening with the other platforms.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into depth on this, but the number of people I talk to at HR Tech Amsterdam who are basically vibe coding stuff that scares me to death.
I know.
Which, by the way, I'm a huge fan of vibe coding.
Yeah.
Like I do it all the time. But don't vibe code an ATS that you don't like
Yeah.
just because you think you're going to like it better.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is staying in a silo. The goal here is to think if you're going to vibe code, break the mold.
Mm,
Don't vibe code what already exists.
right. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So, like, people are like, "Oh, maybe we should just vibe code Workday." I'm like, why? Like,
I'm convinced that so far we have only been using AI to perfect the way we used to work. Nobody is
no.
really using AI to design something net new from scratch. Like, yes, it's happening in pockets and pieces and stuff, but I'm convinced that to date, up until April 2026, we've been using the most powerful technology we'll probably ever see in our lives to perfect the way we used to do things. Like, this is the time to actually reimagine and build from scratch. But compliance is still a thing, security is still a thing. Yeah, oof, what a time.
And really quickly, I just put the winner of the HR Tech Europe Pitch Fest in the chat. For those of you that haven't heard of Insignia, Insignia is framing itself really like a workday for agents. And if
Mm,
you think about that, the difference between an HR system, so think about an HR system that just stores name, address, department, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This system doesn't, this system onboards the agent. It teaches the context necessary in the organization. It makes sure it's secure. It makes sure that governance is there. It's making sure that the agent is being fed. So for those of you that have heard me say this, instead of counting heads, making heads count, this tool is not just counting agents, it's making the agents count and constantly thinking about how can agents work better together, different together. Think about, we're not going to call it performance reviews on agents, but how do we track the performance of agents, outcomes of agents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
even that, like timestamp that, even that is the winner of an HR Tech Startup Award in spring of 2026. Like timestamp that, like how fast things are moving. That could anybody have said this a year ago? That's going to be the hottest tech of April 2026. Like, I mean, I guess Workday was announcing agent system of record
it was
probably
just a way
because,
to track the agent, though. That
yeah,
wasn't a way to nourish the agent and
right.
feed the agent and keep the agent safe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Lynn, like you said, what you just said beautifully, I'm convinced small businesses and individuals are going to have the breakthroughs. My kid, who's 21, has an oh shit moment every second. And I literally call him every day and he gives me an oh shit moment. And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh shit moment. I'm getting old and not relevant because I can't keep up with it. But it's so, so fascinating. And anyway, check out that company. We're going to have Michael, the founder, on in a couple weeks and can't wait for you to learn what they're doing. Jess, we should get on to our content for the day, right?
Yes, I love
We
it.
didn't even ask other people for their oh shit moments or their one big things. I'm so sorry. Uh, that's
Now
Jess.
I think we can trust the chat. So please do add. And
Yeah,
we
if you guys have some, please add them. That's great. And let's in the meantime, we'll bring on our guests because they've just been listening to a bunch of chatter and I'm so excited for them. Now, Jess, this is like a part 2 of our episode we did a couple weeks ago where we had some, do we call them Gen Zs? What do we call them? Like
yeah, they're like The youngest of Gen Zs, maybe.
We call them like weirdos, freaks. That's
Even
then
in
that
the
way I'm
movie,
call it a
possible.
weirdo and a freak also. Macrae and Aidan, it's so great to have you.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Yes, thank
Yeah. So, Macrae, maybe we'll start with you. Can you just tell us a little about yourself, where you're joining us from, and
Yeah, so
what it's like dealing with me as a professor?
yeah.
Call him Professor Averbook.
No. I don't think he would like that. But I'm Macrae Shaver, so I'm a senior at the College of Charleston, and my major is business administration with a concentration in entrepreneurship. And so for my last class before I graduated, I took a class with Jason and then another professor, John, and that was one of the most valuable, impactful classes I would say that I've had in my college career. If I didn't have that, it wouldn't have prepared me as much to have some of these soft skills that we were talking about a lot to go into the workforce, because it's just is a very uncertain time, you know? And so through that class, I've developed a deep passion for AI and figuring out how to leverage it in my own personal life, but also with work and going into the workforce.
Are you in Charleston today?
Yes, I am.
So, do you know what Macrae, the first day I met Macrae, you know what she said she wanted to be when she grew up? Which she probably still does, a consultant.
Yes.
Can you imagine? A consultant. And I was like so excited. Like, as someone who turned into a consultant by accident, I was like, oh my gosh, here's someone that actually wants to be a consultant.
Yeah.
Which, after learning Macrae, she just loves advising and guiding and coaching. And it's just another way to say consultant, basically. But
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, great. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Aidan, how about yourself?
Yeah, so similarly, I'm a senior. I'm over at Bentley University, so I live just outside Boston, but I'm graduating with a computer information systems and sustainability sciences double major. And I kind of enjoy working at like this interesting intersection, right? I'm at a business school. I study information systems. I appreciate and have a large care for the sustainability piece. But I've been working over this last year and a half now on kind of helping the students coming after me with opportunities, bridging the gap for them. I founded the Artificial Intelligence Society here at Bentley. I'm writing research at the intersection of AI and education. And yeah, similarly, I enjoy kind of being at this space where I'm helping people, like you kind of said in your oh shit moment. I really find a lot of value from, creating those opportunities for those coming after us, whether that's helping them build like the technical skills, bridging the gap where the universities are enabling the durable and the transformational skills, whether it's giving them big opportunities to kind of get hands-on with things like a build-a-thon, which we did recently with Babson and Bryant, or working with the faculty and the institution and kind of having discussions like this. Even just this last Wednesday, we've got all different staff, faculty, and student leaders in the room to kind of break down these barriers and kind of shape our future together.
So I'm so excited to hear people are talking about this at schools.
Yeah.
I love that. Macrae, when do you graduate? When's your graduation date?
It's May 9th. So I
May
have an
9th.
honors college one May 7th, and then I have a day in between, and then the business administration graduation.
Awesome. And Aidan?
I'm a week later, on the 16th.
Awesome. That is great. Are you excited to graduate? Are you scared to graduate? Like, where's your head in the whole graduation thing? Do you have a job? Are you going to go travel the world and take 2 years off and do nothing? Like, what's next?
I wish, but I think part of it is bittersweet for me. I've had a lot of this discussion with, my family and everyone over the last couple months, but part of me is really excited to step in and kind of pressure test a lot of these thoughts that I've had and, see what I want to do and where that's going to fit in the broader society. But it's bittersweet in the sense that I can't go back, right? I can't go back to the enjoyment of, 3 days of classes a week, just so much less responsibility. But at the same time, I feel like it's the right time. I'm super excited, even though it's one of the most interesting environments to be stepping into. I'm super excited to be able to make my mark on it and see where it takes me.
I love that you said interesting. That's such a great word.
Yeah.
Macrae?
Yeah, I would say basically the exact same thing. It's very bittersweet. I was walking to one of my last classes the other day and I was like, wow, this is really like the last time I'm going to be on campus with all the students around me and the energy. So it's definitely bittersweet, but I do think I'm, at least for me, I'm kind of at that point in time where it is the right time, you know? And so I think it's uncertain, but it's exciting. And so that's just kind of the journey of it. So I'm excited.
Jess,
Yeah,
can I ask one
totally.
more thing before you do? I'm sorry to talk so much. I'm so excited these guys are here. Um, so like Aiden, I did get a chance to work with you, but I got a chance to work with Macrae. In our last class, I felt empty afterwards. I was kind of like
I know.
we were like a family, and we built like a
Yeah.
family together. So it was a little bit weird, just all of a sudden being okay, we're done. How much has changed? Because we have a lot of people that on this call that aren't necessarily in your shoes, but they have kids
Mm.
somewhere who either are in your
Yeah.
shoes or, well, excuse me, yeah, the kids are in your shoes, or the kids have graduated, or they have kids that are thinking about going to school. How much do you feel that the job, what you started school for 4 years ago? So think about what Jess was saying. Like, we're going to look back in 5 years and be like, oh man, I can't believe we're doing this. Think about 4 years ago when you were picking a school, and
Yeah.
now 4 years that you're graduating. Does it feel a lot different?
Yeah, I would definitely say it feels a lot different. I think even when deciding what college to go to, you didn't hear so much about AI. There weren't even like, there's whispers of it, but it wasn't a huge topic of conversation. So I think that's something that's definitely progressed super fast over the past 4 years alone. So I think it's very different, and also having friends who aren't in a business space, who are in psychology, biology, criminology, I think it's very different for them as well, because this isn't something that would necessarily come up in a normal type of conversation in those classrooms. So I think it's definitely changed and accelerated a lot in the past 4 years.
Yeah, and I think I come from like a weird situation of I didn't really know what I wanted to do for a whole lot of my time at college and even before college. Like I picked Bentley because I have a lot of family that's in business and I understand that, the value of having a core understanding in business is valuable, but I knew that wasn't the space that I really saw myself in. So even my entire time at Bentley was a little bit just uneasy, or I felt not outcast, but it's just different, right? Like I had a different approach to what I was trying to do. And so that kind of taught me how to live in the uncomfortability, live in the uncertainty, and be comfortable with the fact that I didn't know what I wanted my major to be until the end of my sophomore year. I didn't know what I wanted my job title to look like till the beginning of my senior year. Starting to live and take university instead of having like all of my decisions set in stone ahead of time, and instead kind of like approach them day by day and grow like that, I think was probably the most valuable thing I took away from university.
And Aiden, sometimes it's good just to have people say that.
Yes.
Like it's so refreshing to say that, because I have a kid who's deciding what school he's going to, and he's basically saying, "Well, I don't know what I want to be. I don't know what I want to do."
And that's
And
okay.
I'm like, that's why we're going. I mean, that's why you're going to school. I mean,
Exactly.
is
You
to
are too, Jason. Your kid
Yeah.
I kind of am. McCrae knows that. Yeah, it's to kind of learn that stuff as you go. I mean, McCrae, did you know exactly the day that you graduated from high school what you wanted to be? And you still don't.
No. I was gonna say I knew just the realm of business was something I wanted to be in, but as I've told Jess as well, was first thinking HR. I went into college, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, so based off of the classes that I took, I would stay after and talk to professors and say, this is what I like about it, this is what I'm interested in, and then have them kind of guide me to. A lot of people told me HR seems what you're talking about, like it seems it would match your skill set, and so through that and talking to a lot of other professors and doing research, that's how I kind of landed on business consulting. But when I first got to college, I definitely did not know.
I don't think you're supposed to. I think that's a
Yeah.
good thing. So I think what's really interesting, and I know I've told both of you individually, and I feel like I need to like keep saying this because it's true not just for you, but for everybody. Everyone's having an identity crisis. Like it's your job to have an identity crisis while you're in college. Who am
Yes.
I? What are my values? Who do I want to work for? How do I want to live the rest, the next few decades of my life while I have to, pull a paycheck? Like literally, there's so much changing. I know you probably see this and hear this so much, it might be nauseating at this point. It's true. Everybody is talking about the dismantling of jobs and like the changing of the workforce, and like the labor market is churning harder than it's ever churned before. And unfortunately, you probably also see the headlines around unemployment for Gen Z and for college grads is skyrocketing temporarily. I think this is like a temporary thing because there's so much confusion and so many people are rushing to make changes they're not organizationally ready for. Like we're just in this weird like flipping and like weird pacing moment. So don't let that freak you out. Number one, like it's going to correct itself, but everybody, people are mid-career and having an identity crisis about what they want to do now or differently or where they fit in sort of like how the dust is settling on work these days. So you're actually like perfectly positioned because I think you've been taught something else in the last couple of years of school, and that is branding and voice articulation. Like I know Jason taught it in his class, and Aidan, I can absolutely see that Bentley has doubled down on this as well. Figuring out your personal identity, your personal constitution, your value system, and like knowing how to articulate that when you're talking to potential employers, assuming you can get past all their AI silliness.
Yeah.
Which is a different topic. Like that articulation that both of you're doing it right now in this conversation with us. You're already winning at this game because the rest of us are trying to figure out how to re-articulate our own value prop against what we can do in this new world of like how things look.
Yeah,
So
I think
that's like a vote of confidence for both of you that I want to keep saying to people. And even to those
well, and if I could, I mean, Jess said something. Jess said that the change was going to calm down, and things were going to calm down. Like, I'm not going to promise you that. Like, you hold her to that. I think we are going through a period of change, but I think that I'd like to say you guys are going to be the instead of a lot of us who feel like the change is happening to us. I think you two are in a great position to actually make the change and be in control of the change. So I'm not sure it's going to slow down, but I think there's a big difference for people who think it's happening to them and people who are making it themselves.
I think more what I meant is sort of this, I think we're in a slash and burn phase right now that feels really irresponsible and scary. This slash and burn of jobs and workforces are being decimated and companies are getting a little ahead of themselves. It doesn't feel all that intentional and thoughtful. And if I'm a college grad entering this world of work and I'm watching the same company who's posting jobs announce job cuts, like I would be like completely disoriented. So it's really messy out there. I guess we've always done that, but right now it's particularly like the cart is way ahead of the horse on some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think you guys both said it really well. Like being right in the middle of this transformation around, like we have technologies and these different things that, we haven't at all before. And, no one knows what the right way of doing it is. And so I think, Macrae, you really agree, right? Like we need to, as students entering this like place of confusion and entering this, environment of uncertainty, it's on us to kind of shape what it looks like. And I think that's what I'm trying to help the other students around me understand too, is I don't want them to kind of get stuck in the mud, right? Like help them kind of bridge their thinking about it and give them opportunities too, to like see what we're talking about. Cause
Aidan, you said something to me the other day. I will like remember it forever. We have to build this together. And I like if literally both of you say that in every job interview you go into, like we have to build this together. I think organizations will need that if they haven't figured it out yet. That concept of reverse mentorship, bring your mindset, bring those native skills that you already have, bring that curiosity, that designer's mindset, like all of those things are so, so valuable to you. Because like in a few years, everybody's going to have the same AI. Like every organization is going to have packed so much AI until that's not going to be the differentiator. Who rushed to AI first and fastest and who's like, that's not going to be the differentiator. It's the humans that are designing the strategy and the tools and running. Like that's still going to be the differentiator. And so people like you with your skills and your mindset and your hunger to teach and learn at the same time, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be like the key employees.
Yes, I think it's really important to highlight too what Jason was saying of the mindset of, is this just going to happen to me, or am I going to take this into my own control? And I think that's a very big mindset shift that I hope a lot of our generation has, and I believe that they do have. And so I think a big thing that plays into that is curiosity and, like you said, the hunger for learning. So if you look at this as an opportunity of, I can make something with this, I can leverage, I can help my personal life, also my work life, and kind of set myself up for success. You just have to have the curiosity enough and the hunger to want to learn it. Because I will say, like, a lot, like personally, and a lot of other students I know that have taught themselves this, it's self-taught. You're
Yeah.
taking time out of your own day to sit down and try to teach yourself this. So I think those soft skills, the curiosity, everything is super important when it comes to that mindset shift.
Yeah.
So I think that the mindset shift is so interesting, Macrae, and we talked about it. I mean, and in our final projects, it was so fascinating that we had everyone that built apps, to build Chrome extensions, to build movies, and one of the things that we talked about a lot in the class is that the prompt is nothing but the brain.
Exactly.
I mean, so when people say AI is making us stupid, like the ideas, and we, out of the 11 presentations, there were 11 amazing brain ideas that then we used prompts to get stuff done. And I'm curious, as we think about these big companies that you guys are interviewing with or might go work for, what if they block you from using the tools that you just used in school to be creative? So that's been going through my head this week a lot as I've been watching a lot of the things that people are doing. I'm like, and listening to a lot of these big companies say, no, we don't let people use those tools. I'm like, what are people how are you going to, like, what if I took away your cell phone? Or what if I took away your webcam and you know that it's out there, but you can't use it? Like, how are you going to feel?
Yeah, I think that's a big question to address. And I do think that there's definitely a big line that when it comes to using AI, there's a big boundary of, you don't want to submit your work with AI through anything. I think, in my opinion, AI is used for preparation and is used for research, but you always have to go double check the research. So just making sure that you're not taking, the first answer it's giving you, you're using this as your brain. You're actually training this AI like you think, and how your critical skills come out, I think is a major thing. But I do think that hopefully companies over time will realize how useful it is. And as long as there's that boundary set in place, I think it could be very effective for the future.
Yeah, and I think Jess said something to me the other day that resonated with me, was that, the culture in a company is that this is the oxygen you breathe. Like, the type of environment that they foster is one that, you kind of choose to be a part of in a way. And um, not to naively say, like, if a company completely takes those things away, I think about them differently, because I would think about them differently if they're not trying to be adaptive, they're not trying to be forward thinking and try and stay ahead of that curve, because that's something I try to stay committed to, is being kind of with guardrails at the forefront of that innovation, at least thinking about the change, right? But if that was to happen, that's where I think falling back on these more like these, we call them like durable and transformation skills, which are like the human ones, right? Like the critical thinkings, the resilience. I think that's a really big one. The curiosity, the communication, right? Being able to still go up to your peers and your mentors and in that space and kind of still elicit what you need from them, that you can then go reverse engineer to what you want to do and whatever they need out of you.
So Aidan, how much did and Macrae, sorry, how much did school teach you that? Because this is the question, and it was in the
Yeah,
chat
yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
Is, do you think that it makes sense to go to school, like choose your school based on what they're good at from a topic area like marketing, finance, et cetera, or is it better to go to a school that's really good at teaching you critical thinking, curiosity, those types of things? Maybe what entrepreneurship is, which that's what an entrepreneur is. Like, what are your thoughts on that? And what advice would you give these parents out here?
Yeah, I think the core value of like universities that have been doing a certain thing for a long time is still there because they have like that domain and intellectual property on a certain subject. But we also have to recognize that they're also trying to navigate this change right now. And so looking at what they're doing, how they're approaching the topic is going to be really important in that search. Like speaking, for example, from Bentley, like we have these conversations around, on Wednesday where we're trying to understand both sides so that the faculty can go back and engineer a curriculum and something for the students that prepares them best for these types of conversations that were happening, right? And so they're figuring out how they can still provide those other skills but rooted in their specialty, right? So how can they still create like people that are ahead of the curve in the I think they called it like the current like job market level. How can they be ahead of that curve already, right? And so I think that it's important even more now to look beyond. It's still important, like right, like those core focuses of the school, but also what are they doing right now to try and prepare you otherwise? And if they're not doing anything, then I would definitely say it's more valuable to build the other types of schools because Macrae, you said this earlier, like it's more and more on the individual to get out what they want from the situation. University, you can't, it's not enough nowadays to just go in and learn Excel, to learn how to model financial analysis, right? You need to be able to analyze it, understand and communicate it. So it's going to be on the individual too, to in their studies, not just plug it and play into large language models. It's up to them to, be doing stuff outside of the classroom, to be putting their own thoughts and their own opinions during that process. And then it's, the university also like making this transparent, and transparency is a big piece that we've been talking about at school too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a big question too when it comes to this topic is, does the school system and the education system realize the impact that AI has on the workforce right now? Are they even aware of that? Because I think that is a big problem that tends to get overlooked and not researched on enough. So I think that's the first thing, is making the education system aware that this is something that's changing. I just read 78% of companies are adapting AI into the workforce. And so it's real. And so I think that needs to be addressed first. And I do think the critical thinking skills, soft skills, all of that are super important. And I think one of the things that college kind of limits you to is putting you on this one track, right? So you have all of these courses you have to complete, all of these electives. You don't have as much time to freely explore other topics, to freely have other interests besides your one major. So I think that's always been something that I've thought was a little bit broken in the school system. But I think the biggest thing is, are they realizing and aware of the impact that AI is having and how that's going to create a gap in how they effectively teach students?
I love that you just said that. I love both those comments. I think that's great. And I'm reading up. I'm reading some of these conversations. It hasn't come up in any of the tour presentations. And yeah, I mean, Stephanie, just so you know, I mean, this is new. I mean, I just had a call with our dean of our entrepreneurship program earlier this week before I flew out, and he's asked me to come in and help teach some of the professors how to teach the way that I teach, which is more about curiosity and things like that. I mean, Macrae's going to tell you, I mean, it's a little embarrassing. An entrepreneurship class, we probably didn't talk about entrepreneurship much at all, but all the things that are required to be prepared for whatever work brings. That's where a lot of change is going to happen, and that's where. I mean, there are going to be professors. I don't want to get too deep on this, but there are professors that will select out. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal or New York Times a couple of weeks ago that said people are choosing to retire before starting to learn some of this stuff. And I don't think that's bad. I mean, it might be bad for them, but I don't think that's bad for any of us as we start to think about that.
Yeah, I would just like to add too, I would say your whole class was about entrepreneurship. You laid out the foundation and the core values. So I wouldn't say you never talked about it. Exactly.
She's saving my ass.
No.
One of the questions that Aidan, I'd love to and both of you guys, is this: someone asked that someone didn't want to put the question in the in the chat, but they texted it to me, so I want to just read it. So basically, it said, "What is your definition of what wellness is, and how much do you think of wellness?" And I think that's really interesting. And the person that asked that question is someone who does a lot of work in wellness, but probably doesn't get a chance to talk to 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds much about what is wellness. So what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah. As you say, I can start first. I would say my first thing would be mental health, and I would say that's like my first sign of wellness, and then I would say, you know, physical health as well. But having some type of balance in your life, whether you're in school, you're in a career where there's that work mode that you're turning on and you're full of grit and determination, but there are times that you set aside for yourself. Like personally for me, I love connecting with nature, going to the beach at the sunset, setting time for yourself to allow yourself to have a break and to have your mind, you know, have some mental clarity so you're not always on going towards burnout, I would say.
What do you think, Macrae, if I could, and I'll look at you in a second, and I want you to answer the same thing. Like, what if, I mean, how did you get that? Because that's not something that, you know, most HR departments, I'm pretty say it. Like a lot of people say, well, is HR putting in place wellness programs, or are you guys going to be like, screw you, HR? Like, if we don't have wellness programs, like we know how to take care of ourselves. And I actually think you guys do. I actually think you're better at that than our generation was.
Yeah, Gen Z is a generation, you mean?
Yes.
Better at that, Jason?
Aidan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think part of it is like part of that piece, like our generation being just more like naturally inclined to it, is kind of like the environment we grew up in. Like, you know, there's much more discussion and emphasis on like, you know, people's, you know, like whether it was like the way that they think, the problems they're going through. I think we're much more aware and conscientious of that just as a society. And so like that being a part of our development has made that once we get into the more like professional space, we just think about that more naturally and understand the value of it. And the way that I try to find it in my work and try to not, you know, do too much is making sure that the work that I'm doing kind of aligns with things that fulfill me. Finding work that I think matters and that I feel a lot of even just enjoyment doing, like even if it's a lot of work doing, if I know what I'm doing is something that aligns with my values and the things that I care about, I find it a lot less taxing on my mental well-being. And then it's still like kind of Macrae said, like finding that time to, you know what, this weekend I'm going up to New Hampshire, we're going on a hike, or, you know, setting like, you know, I'm going to go out for a walk during my lunch break. And then, you know, after my meetings, I'll find 10 minutes just to go chat with my dad. Right. Something like these little things I find a lot of value in to kind of reset, right? Just totally disconnect for that period of time.
Yeah. And I loved that you touched on being fulfilled and finding a passion. That's a major topic in Jason's class, and I would definitely agree and add that on. I wouldn't attribute it all, but I do think maybe COVID had a little bit to do with, you know, being in social isolation for around 2 years, like why our generation is kind of more aware of wellness and thinking of it in that way. I think maybe that attributes to it, but I think finding your passion and doing something you actually love doing, you're not just doing it for money or you're doing it because your family told you or whatever, is super, super important. And I think that's how a lot of people define success now, or at least I do, as long as you know you're doing something that you love, you know?
Jess, can I ask another question?
Yes. I could be in the audience. I'm having some.
I know. I feel bad. I'm so excited.
I've gotten to talk to both of these guys in the last week. I'm having fun.
So what advice do you have for parents? So if you think about your parents, I mean, I don't know your parental situations, but you know, if you think about your parents, and did they force you to go to school? Did they force you to study business and consulting, Macrae? Did they force you to study Aidan? Like, what advice do you have for parents whose kids are just reading what Jess said, people getting laid off, AI is changing jobs, no one in college can find a job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what advice do you have?
Yeah, for my experience, honestly, my parents were kind of the biggest thing was just the support. Like honestly, like their support in allowing me to make my mistakes and let me find it myself instead of kind of pushing me in a direction. Even though there was times when they were like, how have you not gotten it? Like, why are you not looking so hard for an internship? I'm like, Mom, I'm trying. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's understanding and giving them that space to kind of try and to test it out and to, you know, feel it out when they can. And then just like supporting them and having belief in them. Like, I think that was the biggest thing, is that even though there was times where I felt really down about, you know, my professional situation, they still believed that I would figure it out, and they didn't kind of come down on me so hard. Instead, they were kind of supportive in those times, and that kind of throughout my whole life, I'm very grateful and very lucky to have a very healthy and supportive home environment.
Mm.
But to see what they've, you know, to watch, like, kind of almost like learn through watching them, like watching what my mom and my dad have sacrificed and how they kind of, you know, figured things out for themselves, and them being transparent about not being perfect either helped me be okay not being perfect.
Oh,
Yeah, I love that. I was gonna say, I definitely agree. Support is a huge thing. I think I grew up in a very, very supportive household, and I love my parents. I'm pretty sure they're in the chat here, so if they can see me.
Oh, identify yourself if you're here.
you're listening as proudly as
I'm
I
not
am,
sure
more
if
proudly.
they know I know they're in here. I don't know if
Yeah.
they know where the chat is, but we'll see later.
Come on, they couldn't even figure out how to use the platform. I can't figure out how to use the platform, so they probably can't figure out how to use the platform.
That's so funny. Yes, but I think support, and just going back to the idea that we were just talking about of doing something you're passionate about, you know, don't force your kids to try to do exactly what you did or exactly what you think they should be doing. Just allowing them to have intentional time, I feel like, to explore hobbies and to explore what they're really interested in is super important. And so I babysat this girl that lives in my neighborhood from my hometown. And so one of the things I would always tell her, I was like, learning is so fun. Learning is so exciting. Like, you never ever want to stop learning. Like, learning is the key to life. Like, once you graduate, you're not done learning. So just setting intentional time for your kids, or your kids doing it for themselves, to, you know, expand on, you know, I'm in the business world, but maybe I want to go learn about neuroscience. That's something I've been reading about recently. Just expand them in general, and be well-rounded, and to have intentional time to explore that, and not be so one-track minded of, I have to go to school, I have to get a job, I have to get a career, I can only do one career, stuff like that. And having that support is super, super helpful.
Completely. I mean, even just at university itself, I bounced around. I taught myself guitar, and, you know, started playing out at shows. I played ball. I was a soccer player my whole life. I joined the club volleyball team and played there. You know, I joined like the fashion association. Like, I got into thrifting and all this other stuff. And so, like, even through all of this, like, they supported like me going into those different random rabbit holes of learning, and I attribute all of these different things to kind of making me who I am today. And, you know, if they had kind of tried to keep me, or if I had tried to refine myself, like you said, to just business, right, I wouldn't be so multi-dimensional that I've developed into.
Jess, do you have a question? If you don't, I do.
I have a very important question for Aidan. Did the Red Sox win on Wednesday night?
No, we've lost 3 days in a row.
Oh, no.
All to the Yankees.
Wednesday afternoon, and he was taking off for the game, and I didn't check the score. When I know somebody's at a game, I like to check the score and see how your experience might have been. Sorry about that.
My question is, how do you feel about what's next? How do you feel about work, and what are you doing to think about that? I don't know if you have jobs, et cetera, et cetera. I do, but what do you guys think about what's next?
You want to go, Macrae, or me?
Sure, I'll go first.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I think a lot is different now, and I think your class specifically also helped me a lot, but I think proof of work is huge for me now, and this is something that I did not realized was so important until I had Jason's class with John. And so just building something in public, you know, I feel like a lot of students have the imposter syndrome of, I'm still in college, I just graduated, I don't have a real job, like, I don't want to publicly post this, I don't know if I'm an expert. You don't have to be an expert. You can start building now, and being able to articulate your curiosity and your hunger and conversations just like this, but also in an interview, I feel like is extremely important. So posting Substacks, you know, getting out of your comfort zone and building in public to show that you are continuously growing, I think is one of the most important takeaways that I've had from this year in that class and going forward.
Yeah, and I think even exponentially so in today's society, where we kind of are discussing about these like entry-level internship, like these things are kind of disappearing in a way, right? And it's getting more and more difficult for people to kind of show their experience, that showing like that self ambition to go like build something, go do something, and then be proud of it and put it on show is super, super important nowadays. And it's kind of what I'm trying to do as well. Like in the next, I kind of have been trying to figure it out, right? I can't look too far ahead. Like I can't look beyond probably about 5 years of where I want to go. But I've kind of settled into, this first year out of college. I'm looking to build kind of like some hard, like requirement elicitation skills, solution engineering, and modeling. So kind of like the more people side, but then on the side, still continuing my research. I'm gonna continue with 2 of the professors at Bentley and try and get some of our research published. And even again on the side, again connecting back to like that personal fulfillment. I founded Base at Bentley, and I'm now working with the like Career Center, the provost, and kind of like the academic team to build like essentially a pipeline that offers mentorship and reverse mentorship within the industry for aspiring students. And something like this where, it's community facing, it's bridging that gap, and it's, providing opportunities for these students is where like, if I can put all of these things together, that's when then I'm like, okay, I'm confident that by doing these things, that will open up the next door for me. And after that, it'll open the next door. And I do know the other thing I want to do is eventually go back to school in like another like 5 or 6 years. I think it will be really interesting to go back to school to kind of see where everyone's mindset has moved and see like, because we don't know what's going to change. And like Jess said, like in 6 months, we're going to be like, oh, Aidan, you were so good at this.
Right.
And so like in 5 years, it's going to be even 10 times that. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for that as well.
Oh my gosh. Jason, I don't remember being this smart when I was their age.
No, my God.
Right?
No, my God. Like I was just thinking about the wellness answer, and I was like, wellness? Like a bag of Fritos or Bugles or shit. Like a Burger King, like Wendy's. I was so not healthy mentally and physically. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats to both of you. I couldn't be a bigger proponent of working out loud, not just now for a lot of reasons, but working out loud, sharing how your mind thinks, the questions you ask, demonstrating your critical thinking skills out loud. That couldn't be better personal branding. We hired one of our like most talented analysts at Mercer. And the first thing I told her was work out loud. You're too smart to keep this to yourself. Work out loud. Like I would tell anybody that. So the fact that you're both figuring that out as you leave school and into the workforce, so many people, as it was already said in the chat, are going to benefit from the way you're thinking and the questions you're asking. So keep going.
And you're so lucky to have that mindset, because that mindset, like I wish I could just implant it in people's brains. Very hard to do. So you already know proof of work is more important than a resume, and that now we have to teach HR that. Also, speakers already know that, but we have to teach HR that so you guys don't get screened out. So lots of work to be done. Yep. Jess, I'll let you close us up.
Oh my gosh, just thank you, both of you. I know it probably feels brave and nerve-wracking or whatever. I know you both prepped really well for this. Thanks for being you. You're absolutely brilliant. We're lucky to have you coming up into the world behind us. We, all of us old people, promise to do our best to give you something to work with. We're working on it, I promise. But thank you. And I hope you come back. Like we need to do, where are they now? Like not even that far from now, like 6 months, a year from now, we got to do a where are they now with some of you guys.
That would be awesome.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I look forward to being more part of the community.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.
Have a good weekend, everyone.